Hey YouTube, it's Freshwater Tropical Fish Breeder here, and today we are going to set up a 20-gallon breeding tank. In this series, there will be 4 videos. Here's what we will talk about. In the first video, this video, we will talk about what you need. Part 2, we will talk about how to set it up. Part 3, we will cover how to do maintenance and win. And in the final part, we will cover tips and tricks and how to save some money. So let's jump right into Part 1. So, in Part 1, we will cover how to set up a tank. So, what you first need to get is a tank. Pick whether you want a 20-gallon long or a 20-gallon standard. This is all preference. Personally, I have a 20-gallon long, but this is all up to preference, and it really just depends how much money you have and how much space you have, although they should be relatively the same price. Next is filtration. This is a hang-on back filter. And then this one is a sponge filter. I prefer sponge filters because they are cheaper and they seem to be more effective, yet it is all up to what you have. If you somehow have a free hang-on back, of course you should use it, and they all do about the same thing. This is a canister filter. I believe these are more overpriced, but they are still great filters. So, then there's lighting. Are you going to do an actual planted tank? If your plants are going to be like an anubias, such as a legit plant, then you will need high lighting. This can also dip into CO2 later, but let's just assume you are not going to run a high-tech planted tank. You will need adequate lighting so that you can view your fish and it simulates a daylight cycle. The next is a heater. A heater can be very helpful. Sometimes it can even keep your fish alive, depending on what fish you want, which we will talk about next. But a heater can be effective in basically just heating your tank. But if it ever malfunctions, it is something to have a second one. Now let's talk about fish. This is all up to your personal preference and what you enjoy looking at the most. I personally like freshwater tropical fish, obviously. But what you might like might be snails or shrimp, which I also like mystery snails and red cherry shrimp. But that's beyond the point. The point is pick your fish, but do some background research. Like that neon tetra needs a schooling fish, and if you don't have them in a school 5 or more, it might not be good for you to have neon tetras, and some might die. My favorite fish of all, though, is the red wag. So, one last final thing to think about is what decor are you going to have? So this is something extra. Your fish don't technically need it, but it is great to have it in your budget so that you don't go walking around with a bare bottom tank, and it just gives it something to look at. So this is all up to you, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video.